There is a big new development this morning in a 5-year legal battle between CBC News and the Ontario government of Doug Ford, a battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. CBC News has been refused access to the Premier's 2018 mandate letters. Those are the letters which spell out a government's priorities at the beginning of its term in office. Well, the content of those mandate letters is out because it's now been leaked. Mike Crawley has been following the developments, been on this story for a long time, and now we are having revealed in this leak what is in the letters. What do we now know, Mike?
Well, and this is quite something, Heather, because the leak is not to CBC News. It's actually been leaked to Global News, and so far we actually haven't learned a whole lot about what's actually in the letters. So that's because in Global's first story, they just revealed, let's call it the bread of the sandwich. So if you think of a mandate letter to a cabinet minister as a sandwich, there's a common thread to what's said to every single minister around the meat in the sandwich, which is, the actual marching orders. So so far, what we've heard from the Global reporting is that Premier Ford told his ministers to hold themselves to the highest ethical standard, both on and off the job, and to only pursue courses of action that will make a positive difference for the kind of people who can't afford expensive lobbyists. Now, Global does say that they will report on the content of each minister's letter over the coming days. But yeah, this has been a battle going on since 2018, and it's important, Heather, to remember that at each step in the way, the legal decision sided with CBC News and sided with the idea that the public should have access to these mandate letters. And at every step, the Ford government fought it. And CBC News has also learned how much time government lawyers spent in that legal fight. And it's over 1,600 hours of lawyer time that was just leading up to the first actual court appeal hearing. So it doesn't count all of the time that was spent in the run-up to the Supreme Court battle.
That's an incredible amount of time. As you say, taxpayer dollars. Just as an aside, because I do have another question, but this became an issue in the Greenbelt land swap scandal of late because everyone wanted to know what were the specific marching orders that Steve Clark got, the former housing minister, from the Premier and from the government, right?
And what was revealed by the Integrity Commissioner was that there was a marching order to look at a process for opening up land, removing land from the Greenbelt. And that had never been mentioned at all in the government's campaign. And this is also why CBC wanted to try to obtain the mandate letters back in 2018, because that was a very vague campaign, not a lot of specific promises from the Ford government. And so we wanted to see what were they planning to do.
So there's a concrete example of why people in public needed to see those mandate letters and the fight to keep them secret. Now, being leaked out, what kind of reaction are we hearing, maybe from the government, but I'm thinking of other political and public reaction too, Mike?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're hearing quite commonly from the public is what is in the mandate letters that the government wanted to hide so much that it fought all the way to the Supreme Court to keep it secret. And the opposition is in particular reacting to the amount of time that government lawyers spent on this fight.
It's astonishing. Imagine what they could have done with the money that they have wasted just to prevent Ontarians from having the answers that they want.
What a ridiculous waste of taxpayer dollars for the Premier to hide his own mandate letters from the very people he's elected to serve.
Now, where we're not getting much reaction from is from the Premier's office. They've been very silent about this. I reached out yesterday morning to ask if they could confirm the veracity of the mandate letters as reported by Global News. They didn't respond to that, nor to my question of whether there is an investigation going on into the leak, because in the past, when there have been government documents leaked, this government actually called in the Ontario Provincial Police.
Mike, thank you very much on the story on an ongoing basis, and appreciate your bringing us the very latest this morning. That's Mike Crawley here with me in studio today.